Oh, do you want me to go into it?
Yeah,
Okay.
talk about it. I feel like the industry is already catty enough, and you just don't need people that are going to like shoot you down and send cease and desist your way because they feel like they own everything in the industry.
One in a million. One in a million. One in a million. One in a million.
Hey,
One
we're
in a
back.
million.
We did it.
We did it.
We're staying consistent for you guys because we know you care. So show us you care.
And she brought
Oh, special
a
guest.
a little old man. Oh. You haven't done that to me all day. Our last 2 weeks was insane. We lost power with clients in the salon.
At 4 p.m. 4 p.m. You know how busy a salon is at 4 p.m.
Oh yeah, we had like 6 stylists in there with a bunch of clients. Some of them were double booked, and all of the lights shut off. And of course, where they're washing hair, there's no lights back there.
No, none. There's no windows, no nothing.
Yeah, so they were all like super fine. I mean, they were fine once they didn't get their hair dried.
What was the feedback we got? I can't remember.
Oh, one girl was like, well, this is how you take care of your guests, because we're like, I said, I can run and go get lights from the studio. I can do whatever. And they were perfectly fine.
Yeah.
They're like, you made it work.
I think
So-
there's a TikTok or something,
There is.
Instagram reel of what they were doing. It looked like all of their clients had flashlights on.
It looked like they were doing a seance in our back room.
This is how you
So-
start vacation.
Has anyone ever lost power in a salon? I have lost power in a different salon before.
Well, we got so lucky with all of the ice storms. I mean, we had an ice storm right after we first opened. We didn't even lose power. None of the ice storms.
No, we've been open for 2.5 years and have never lost power. Like, we were even giving free blowouts to people when everyone lost power for weeks.
Exactly. And that's how if you want to learn how to gain some loyalty, that's what you do. You know, you give free blowouts. You help your community out. I guess that can be in a whole other episode. I feel like I talk about that in the beginning. Every time it's like new episode, new episode, new episode.
How to bring people in and actually like gain loyal clients. Customer service is huge in this industry.
If you prove that you care, they will love you for that. Consumer behavior, that's a whole other topic too. Geez, I feel like we get ahead of ourselves.
So we had that happen.
Yes.
Then our suite side flooded.
Yes.
The whole, the water came out of, what was it? It was like underneath the ground. It was flooding throughout multiple suites.
Yes.
So we had to get a plumber for that. What else happened?
So 4th of July, we didn't even go back that far. So what was that? That was even 4 weeks from today, 2 weeks before that. It was 4th of July, all in 30 minutes. Holiday weekend, so it's like, who are we gonna get to come out? We had our credit card processor went down, a brand new credit card processor. So whatever technology is behind that, I have no idea. We had that happen, and then once again, another flood, but it was just one of our sinks came unpiped or the pipe fell off. And our dryer broke.
Yes, our dryer went out completely. So it was all of that in one day. So it's always something. So if you ever want to own a salon, have at it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's
Salon
a lot
for
of
sale.
fun.
That's all I thought that day. Salon for sale. And we had to run a new payroll that weekend. So 4th of July, I felt like all I
New
did was work.
CPA, new payroll, new everything, and then everything just like completely shit out. It was great.
It was beautiful.
So today, what are we talking about? What about what you can and cannot claim in the industry? Because, I mean, if you've been in this industry for a while, it's like there's a ton of people that offer a lot of the same things. And it's like, how do you pick it? How do you pick who to align with? How do you pick who to take classes with? How do you pick what salon to be in?
What can you claim as yours?
Yeah, because nothing's trademarked truly in our industry. I mean, you can trademark some things, but you can't claim a method is completely yours. No idea is completely brand new. Do you see a bunch of people claiming that? What have you seen?
Oh, do you want me to go into it?
Yeah,
Okay.
talk about it.
I had a client come from Utah, and she got my information from someone who just knew that I was more than willing to cater to guests, who knew I was willing to try anything and everything out there, more than willing to help me out with what she was providing for her guests. So I just went ahead and, watched the video, chatted with the stylist, and started creating this method. I guess that's not mine, but
With no formal training,
No.
now, so you just figured it out.
yeah, so I guess people just think that they can own this method that
Right.
I don't understand.
I don't get it because, I mean, I've taught extension classes for 5+ years. I started with Babe, and educating for them. And one thing they taught me was like extensions have been around since like Egyptians, like 1000 BC. They've been around for a long time, wigs, all of that. I know a lot of the methods that we do, it comes from like ethnic hair as well too, the way they bead and then sew stuff in. And now we're just finally going into putting it on Caucasian hair. So really, if you want to claim that you've created something original, you just ripped it off of people that are already dead. People that are already dead. They already came out with it. You just branded it differently. I know you were following someone for a while and you loved their content.
I was really impressed. This was when hidden rows started becoming a thing, like unseen or hidden or, invisible. Yeah, all the things. And I was like, oh, this girl's pretty cool. Like, I really like her. She's kind of posting free education out there, which we all love, right? That's how we get to know someone, is how they educate and what they can bring to the table. And then she posted this, I think it was a podcast she was actually doing. And she said that, I'm tired of all these copycats. Okay, if they're copycatting you, but you're giving out free education and it's not necessarily something you came up with. This has been around a while. Like, if anybody is doing a beaded weft, then anybody can make it hidden or invisible or not seen or unseen.
Yes. It just comes down to branding.
Yeah.
I mean, even when we teach our classes, yes, I have them sign an NDA. Like, they can't go and teach the exact same thing. But I tell them, I'm like, if you find something that works better for you and you want to adjust certain things and then go teach a class, if your goal is to become an educator, do it. I'm not sitting here saying, no, this is mine. You can't touch it. Like, that's not, I don't understand. It's so catty in our industry. And if your branding is so good, then just stay in your own lane. Exactly. Work on yourself. Quit worrying about all these other people.
Yeah, I ended up unfollowing her because of that, because I didn't find, of course, I wasn't sitting here like stalking her every move and then utilizing it. I don't even think I was educating her at that point for an extension brand. But the fact of that, I had already been doing something that was hidden in my eyes, and then she decided to call it something different and say it was hers. It was just really weird to me.
It almost puts it in your mindset too, like, oh, am I not good enough to do this then? Oh, I should have. Oh, okay, so I can't create anything. Like, it almost puts like a block in your way, like a mental block.
Yeah, I thought her and I, like, our core values were aligning. Once again, we always kind of gravitate to people who have the same core values, but for her to be kind of rude and just say, I'm tired of people copying what I do. I was like, there's people doing what you do before you did it.
100%. Because I know one of her competitors as well too says, I started this way before anyone else, like 10 plus years back.
Yeah.
So there's even competition there.
I mean, I was doing this before there was even hand-tied wefts.
Yeah.
But I got the information from another stylist who was more than willing to help me with her guest. So it was more of sharing something to help and cater to a guest versus this is my method and I'm not going to show you how to do it because you're taking my guest and using it on her.
Exactly. So if you are creating a brand and you feel like people are stealing your stuff, how do you create boundaries? Because I know I've had people reach out before too that are like, who's your manufacturer? Where do you get all of this stuff? I'm not going to tell you that. Like, I'm not going to give you all this free, value in that aspect, because that's cost me $50,000 plus to find that. But I can give you like tips and tricks on how to find your own. I don't know. I feel like the industry is already catty enough, and you just don't need people that are going to like shoot you down and send cease and desist your way because they feel like they own everything in the industry.
I'm just sitting here shaking my head.
I did that earlier. It's like, it's more of just like disbelief. I don't understand why. And this is why stylists leave the industry, because they feel like it's catty, and it's honestly sad. Like, I don't understand why people can't uplift other people. And so even if you guys all have the exact same brand, you're doing the exact same method, you're doing the exact same technique, you're teaching the exact same course, I know people that would rather be with stylist A, stylist B, stylist C, because their personality.
Exactly. Can I go into that a little bit?
Yeah, go for it.
So my first paper I ever wrote in college, yes, I had to go to college. Thank you, parents. The first paper I ever wrote was about a stylist who had done all of the, all of the research and said, even though if you don't have the same talent as someone else. They're going to come to you because of your personality, because you treat them well, because you run on time for them, because you give them the exact same thing, but your personality is so much better. So if you're giving them the exact same thing, it's not falling out of their head. It's not tearing corners. It's not hurting their hair. It's not, I don't know. I mean, the color matches perfectly. If you are doing the same thing, but someone else can offer it but have a better personality, they're going to go to the person who thinks that cares about them most.
Yeah. And I mean, even with like this podcast, I guess our name is a little bit more vulgar than most, you know, and that's going to align with a certain niche and certain person, whereas other people are going to be like, nope, won't watch that. So it's the same way when we teach classes, we're not like uptight and like, we don't come in like, I don't know. Our classes are a little wild.
Yeah.
So,
it's not like big hair show, like, oh, all eyes on us, you know. We're not like the platform artists that think that we just know everything and we're the best out there. It's just, no, we know how to educate and we can help you. Even if you get one tip out of our class, we've helped you.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. So when there was one girl that I used to work with, and she would teach classes and travel. And every time she'd come and teach a class in different states, she would come out with a headset, but she would intentionally make sure that no one in her class saw her beforehand, and she would make everyone give her a round of applause when she walked out.
Yeah, no.
Could you imagine?
No.
Could you imagine if we did that at our classes? But people loved that, and they loved that with her, but to me it made me feel weird, so I was like, I will never do that in my classes. So it's like, I don't know, like people align with different things.
Yeah. I want to be real. I want to be honest. I want you to choose me to come learn from me, because I can give you everything out there, but give you what you need and let you know what you need and not just sell you on something.
Yes, exactly. Because, yeah, we have things to offer. Like, we sell hair, we do all of those things. But even in the classes we teach, like, find the brand that aligns with you. Yes, you're taking a class through Sultry. Yes, you're, like, I can teach you a lot about the actual hair that we use. But if you find another brand that aligns best with you behind the chair, I'm not going to be salty about it. I don't care. I want what works best for you. So, but I do know that with the other brands, it's like, you can only use this. I'm only going to teach you on this. If you're using anything else, it's crap. That's not the truth. Like, yes, there are other brands out there that don't have high quality hair.
But once again, it's a business model too.
It is.
You find a business model. If you have a guest that doesn't want to pay, or most of your guests don't want to pay $2,000 just for the hair, then you're going to use a brand that's not $2,000 for the hair.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. If you have luxury guests and you work, I don't know, in LA and all they want is luxury, or New York, or, I mean, even in Oklahoma City, we have people who want luxury. We have an option for them.
Yes.
So.
But we try and hit every demographic. And while extensions are a luxury thing, and it's true that not everyone can afford them, I want to be able to offer a few different options for people. So like even in our salon, we have staff that starts lower on prices, and it's like, okay, if you can't afford my prices, that's fine. You can go to them, but it gives them options instead of being like right out the gate, it's $3,000 minimum. Sorry, we can't afford that. You're not worthy of it. It's just gross to me. I don't get it. So, I mean, even with that same thing, I had a phone call, was it this past weekend, with a stylist, and she bought a ticket and she's flying in to take one of our classes. But one of the main things that she told me on the phone was, she was like, the people in my area are taking these larger classes, but she was like, they will only, the way that they teach, they're very uppity. So it's like, you can only take this type of client, otherwise it's not worth your time. So only the people that make 6 figures a year are worth sitting in your chair?
I mean, if they're going to pay your extension price, then they're going to pay your extension price.
Right. Why does it matter what they make? I don't understand that. No. Like, it creates like this divide. It's almost like, it's not sexism. What is that? Classism?
There you go.
Classism in the industry. Like, I can still make a ton of money because I'm fast and I'm good at what I do, and I know you are as well, but that comes with years of experience. I can make probably more than they can in charging less than them because I'm faster.
Exactly. And it's not to say that we don't charge enough, because believe me, we're pretty expensive now.
Yeah.
But we also own a salon where we have, like she said, multiple other stylists who don't charge as much. So we have options for everyone. So our salon doesn't serve just one class of individuals.
That's true. And I teach that. I mean, we both say that in the classes, where it's like, start lower, because it gives you time to actually learn what you need to learn. Because if you come out the gate charging $2,000, $3,000, those people are going to expect perfection. I sure as hell would. If I'm going to drop $3,000 on some hair, I don't want corner slipping. I don't want issues. I don't want bald spots. Like, I want to know you know what you're talking about. So if you come out the gate charging that, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Exactly.
If you are wanting to become an educator, what should you do to actually get into that? Find other educators that you align with?
Exactly. I mean, there is someone that I absolutely love to follow. I still follow her. And I mean, there's multiple, of course. But what I loved about her was that she was not, I guess I already spoke to this earlier, but she was not one that was like, this is my method and you can't ever do it and you can't ever teach it. I mean, she's got a whole group of people who come and educate with her. She's got a whole group of people that, I don't know, that align with her, I guess. And so another great thing I loved about her is that she doesn't appreciate price gouging.
Yes, because I feel like once people get to a certain level, they're like, automatically, I deserve this. You aren't owed everything. Like, you have to have the demand on time, for sure. Just because you've done it for years, I think I've said this before, like, right, I know I say it in classes, I would rather go to a stylist that has 50 clients that do it, that have only done it for a year, than someone that's been doing it for 10 years and has only had 5 clients.
Exactly.
So with her, like, her demand on time is high because she does so much of it. So she could charge higher prices, but she knows her demographic and she knows that she can't, and now she makes her money elsewhere. So, I mean, that is one thing that's nice about our industry is you can become an educator, an independent educator, and I think it's interesting. I think a lot of people get shut down, though, because they want to do it, but they don't know how to do it. And it is hard to do because there's so many of them out there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I know you work with Redken, but what made you want to become more of an independent educator as well along that?
So working with Redken, I absolutely, once again, I align with their core values. So I love to go and I love to sell the product. You know, my favorite classes to teach are the Redken Shades of Q classes because I consider it to be a gateway drug.
Right. Yeah.
So I like to go in, but I like to educate and I like to more inspire stylists, not to sell just Redken. So that's why people enjoy coming to my classes is because I'm real.
Yes.
You know?
So it like allows them to kind of free think and go down the route that they want to go instead of this is the only way.
Yeah.
And you have to stick to this.
Yeah. Some people think Redken's a cult. It's really not. Like I think everybody thinks, you know, multiple other brands are cults too, right?
They've just been around for a long time.
Exactly.
So it's like a tried and true thing.
Yeah. So I feel like there's other brands that you could see as being a cult too, just because one educator gave them a bad name. So I don't want to be that. I want to be someone who they can come to with any question. Of course, Redken's what I believe in. It's what I use. I rarely dabble in anything else. But to become an independent educator, I think that's what I had to learn was who am I and who do I align with? I align with Redken because they are a part of who I am. I'm not a part of them.
Well, I think that that's key because if you are teaching for a brand that you don't align with, it would feel so fake.
Phony.
Like, yes, it would not feel right at all. So you aligned with them and their core values speak into yours and vice versa. So it works out perfectly. So if you are wanting to become a brand educator, that's one reason people go independent because they want to feel something real. They haven't found something that actually works for them. And in turn, you'll find your own people as well, too, which, again, you can't trademark people. So if you're finding, like, yes, your method may be similar, and don't copy people, per se. Like, don't go take a class and then literally take the exact same format and all that time and effort that they put into it and duplicate it and then go sell it. That's a little fraudulent.
We've had that happen to us.
We have had that happen, and so that's why we have NDAs now. But like I said earlier, I want people to be able to educate and do all those things, and their personality is just completely different than mine. So they're going to hit a completely different target market than me. So I don't know. I'm just here to bring people up. I want to see people do more than just be behind the chair because we know that being behind the chair takes a lot of effort. People don't do it for a long time. And if they do, they're tired.
Well, what is it? Only, I don't know the percentage. What was the percentage of
Making it
people
past
who
2
only,
years?
yeah.
It's like only 10% of people make it past year 2 in this industry. So
Who am I to make it harder?
why would you want to? I don't understand that. Like, why would you want to degrade people, segregate people, create classism in this industry? It's already catty enough. That's why so many people leave, because it's already hard enough to get clients, and now you already don't feel like you fit in, wouldn't you feel gross about yourself if you were sitting there being like, you don't belong with me, and you copied me, and you're not good enough. You're not me. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
You're 1 in a million, honey.
Yeah, exactly.
Or not 1 in a million, there's a million of you, I guess I meant to say.
Yeah, it's true. Like
What sets you
there's
apart?
a million of you. I could throw rocks across the street and hit 10 salons, and guess what? Everyone around here does hidden rows, beaded wefts, all of that. And while I may know more because I've done it a lot longer, I'm not gonna like completely shit on them and tell them like, oh, well, they're a horrible stylist. That's another thing. If you're a stylist behind the chair and you're talking bad about other stylists, stop. Clients hate that.
It's not pretty.
It's not good. It's not good at all. So that goes into free education. I mean, just give your guest value, tell them what you know without talking down to people. It's the same way in education. Because we have people that come into our classes that have taken other classes.
Exactly.
We don't talk bad about those classes. We're just there to give them what we know. So, I don't know. I hope that helps you guys a little bit, gives you some inspiration on creating your own brand, actually gives you the momentum to become an educator if that's what you want.
Exactly. I mean, just because you're doing something, that's really hard for me. I'm not going to be the next platform artist out there. I'm not going to be the next person who creates the biggest trend. I don't go to Italy and study fashion or whatever. So, I mean, and I can do this, little old me can do it. So, I mean, if you're worried that you're never going to create something big, I mean, everything's been created before. Just recreate it.
Exactly.
And put your spin to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the shags are back, right? Well, they've been created before.
Oh, yeah.
So what made this wolf cut so cool? It was a person who did it, right? It was a whole new sassiness to it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for listening to this one. And we have our 4th one coming out in 2 more weeks.
Check you there.
Yeah. Give us a like, a subscribe, comment. If you have any questions at all, DM us, and we're here to help in any way. If you're wanting to become an educator and you're not really sure what first steps to take, DM us on Instagram or comment on our TikTok, and we'll help you out.
Perfect.
All right.
Like it.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.